That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. We should be simulcasting right here, right now on Twitter and also YouTube. Yes, we got a good one for you guys today. We're going to be talking about the second wave for CAT20 standard. When is that going to happen? We saw what happened 2 days ago, 3 days ago. That's a mega hype. Block 21,000 pass as well. And people think, is this the end all be all? Let me tell you guys something, man. We didn't even get started as yet. Wave 2 is going to come, and it's going to come freaking hard. So you got to make sure that you got tomorrow's newspapers today. And if you're watching the Smart Money channel right now, I'm about to present that to y'all. So keep it locked, keep it loaded here. We got a lot to cover. Francis Dhun, uncensored. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. We do have tomorrow's newspapers today. We're coming back at y'all live and direct from the studio here. Francis Dhun Uncensored, Mr. 100X, Trendsetter Styles. That's what we're talking about over here. Make sure you do like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. But if you're watching us on Twitter, do follow us. We come up with that alpha like we always do. And we're going to be discussing something very important here, which is, when is Wave 2 going to start, right, with CAT20? Now, if you've been here since the very beginning when Ordinals launched, you should be aware of the different segments that took place, or waves, if you will, when it came to BRC20 tokens. You know, we had to wait for the wall to be built, the marketplace, and all that fun stuff. And we saw these various different pumps every time we met a significant milestone. And let me tell you, we will be hitting milestones here with the CAT20 standard. I'm going to break it down for you guys and pretty much try to explain what I've noticed with my nosy self, right? And how I connect the dots and how I'm going to make sense of all of these things we're going to be discussing today, guys. So do share this, please. Retweet it. Share it in all of your chats. Tell everybody that should know that the Don Dada himself is live, all right? Let me just make sure that I am successfully live here first on Twitter. Thank you so much for the followers as well. We got a nice crowd on Twitter to start things. And on YouTube, is everything A-OK? Yeah, we're rocking on YouTube. How's it going, Big Kidma? We have Wisher, we have Consciousness here as well. Thanks so much for joining, guys. We're going to be talking about the Wave 2 because it's going to come in waves. When you have something that's organically launched, right, like the CAT20 standard, and how do we know it's been organically launched? Because nobody had that shop open on day one. OKEX didn't have it open on day one. .swap didn't have it open on day one. Nobody. As a matter of fact, it was off to the races who could come to market first. That's when you know nobody knew what the heck was up. Okay? So we have that organic growth going for it. And when that happens, things slowly roll out. We're going to see wallet support. I mean, like one would expect, right? If we're talking about CAT20 functionality and all this cool shit it could do, we're not going to be messing with marketplaces as much. Right? I would say entirely. We're talking about LPs over here. So these are the things we're going to be discussing and getting our Inspector Gadget hat on today and start snooping around. And the first place we're going to start snooping around is on my profile page. So I made this tweet this morning, and I do want to just make a correction here. So I said, good morning, OPCAT token lovers. That's not the mistake, because we all are OPCAT token lovers. Cat, right? We all are cat lovers. Not so much dog anymore, you know what I'm saying? We're all about that cat life. CAT20 is trading for about $3.80 OTC, but I have a feeling I will soon be able to trade it in a native CAT20 DEX. Okay, so I said it was $3.80. Apparently, my good friend over here and longtime follower, Drex, says $3.80, but per 5 tokens. Okay, so yeah, I believe he is correct. Oh, right here, here's Drex. Thank you, Drex, for that correction. And I didn't like you for that. So that works out to be something like 76 cents a token. But hey, we got interest. And when it comes to OTC trades too, guys, like with spreadsheets especially, I mean, sure, it's what we have to go off of, but the real price is going to happen when we can actually trade these things, right? And we could talk about sexes and all that kind of stuff when that'll happen. But for now, let's just keep it very simple here, okay, and on topic. So this right here, right, block 21,000 took place, and a lot of people were looking forward to this. And yeah, sure, I think, you know, I was really looking forward to it to see how the network will handle all of that, you know, action, you know, and I'm pretty sure it went over 8,000 SAT-VB. I literally said it's going to hit 8,000 SAT-VB, and sure enough it did. And let me tell you guys, I am very, very impressed with the recursive scalability that Fractal Bitcoin has. At one point, I was on Shizzy's channel yesterday. He did an 8-hour live stream. That guy's in some next level shit. But I was there, and we were inscribing something, I think like 100,000 tokens of 1,000 times 100 bulk. It was something dumb, like really small. It was like $14 at a SAT-VB. I believe it was around, I can't remember exactly what, but in the thousands, like the low thousands, maybe 2,000 or something like that, even 3,000, along those lines. To me, that's crazy cheap, right? And I think a lot of people are making the mistake of just looking at, oh my God, SAT-VB 2,000, that's expensive. Do the math, right? Convert that to FB, and then FB with the current price is $2. It is very nominal compared to what we're normally used to. It's like we got so numb to being wrecked when it comes to inscribing on Bitcoin Layer 1, we just say that's part of the game. Meaning what? Well, let's start to inscribe Cherry. Well, Cherry, Burger, I like Burger. The community put me onto that, but like, these ones that are longer mints, you won't get wrecked like that, obviously. But, let's just say the ones that had the typical 21 million supply, 1,000 mints, first come, first serve, whatever, you would have got front run. That's what I meant by, being wrecked, and we're numb to that. Like, yeah, I don't care to get front run. That's all part of the game. No, that should never be part of the game. Okay, and what does CAT20 do? So I guess what I'm trying to say here, before I spend too much time on this one particular topic, the BRC20 is not the meta, and I've always told you guys that, okay? What is the meta is right here, the CAT20. And I'm not necessarily saying whatever the heck is on the table right here, like Trump, Pepe, Pops, Dragon. I'm not saying this, Fractal. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is the people or the developers or the teams and the camps that actually are going to build dApps on here and then have a token value that represents those dApps. That's what I'm talking about. The real development, and that's where the Wave 2 is going to come. And we're going to try to take this step by step by step by step by step and see if we can make sense of all of these things. As I said, I know there's a big, crypto Twitter. I'm mainly a crypto YouTube kind of guy. But there's so much like noise on Twitter. As I say, it's like people get sidetracked and distracted with everybody's thought. It's not even their opinion, right? But you would say, well, a thought's an opinion. But I'm talking about people share every single thought they have. I think an opinion is a organized, formulated conclusion on something. But a thought is just like I just had a thought right now. A bird just flew by. People want to share every single damn friggin' thing with you, and then you get caught up in that noise and you get distracted. You need to know how to block out that noise, conduct your own damn research, and see what you can find without hearing everybody's thoughts. So let's carry on with it. And again, I want to make this really clear, right? When I say this is the meta, the CAT20, I mean, I'm not just saying this because it came out 2-3 days ago. Like, guys, look at the date. August 7th. The Ordinance Protocol on fungible tokens on Bitcoin has sparked new interest among Bitcoin developers for building on-chain. Now talks of OPCAT is on the rise. This will bring programmability to Bitcoin, and the Fractal Bitcoin team are on the verge of implementing this upgrade. This was shortly after the announcement they made about asking the community, hey, do you guys want OPCAT? And like 95% or something like that overwhelmingly said yes. Okay, let's carry on. This is another tweet back in August 17th, right? Yes, OPCAT tokens is a thing. Yes, I'm talking about Fractal Bitcoin. Yes, there will be gains to be made. And yes, well, you guys already know that. I got tomorrow's newspapers today. So I've always been speaking this rhetoric to you guys about CAT tokens, right? I didn't know what the standard name was or if, whatever. Could have been anything. CAT protocol, whatever the heck. This one is CAT20. So I was waiting for this moment. I was counting down the days to September to see when it'll be dropped. I think there was another one that was dropped. I don't even say their name. Wasn't interested in that shit, right? And then this one came, read it over. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. Okay? My prayers were answered from the crypto gods. Here it is. So I've always been looking for this, and I've always been preaching CAT20. Not so much BRC20. But I want to say this. With the BRC20 on Fractals, you need to pay attention to the people who has been the most loyal to BRC20 with their community and who never pivoted to, let's turn BRC20 into a ruins project, like all those other idiots who did that and got wrecked. So I'm talking about the guys like Block, right? The Fractal Goose. I am a goose. I'm proud to say that because that guy is loyal and he's committed to one thing and not just jumping around like a damn fucking squirrel looking for the next nut. Guys like Domo Ducks, you might want to follow them. You might want to take them serious. The hardcore BRC20 cats. Now, there's a lot of other mofos out there that's just trying to milk you. They're trying to take advantage of the Fractal Bitcoin hype. And I'm sorry, I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, but it's like, I'll just say it anyways, right? So be very careful. So outside of those two projects, and I'm sure there's a couple others out there too who mean well, but I think you got to look deeper than what they mean. Like, okay, yeah, I mean well, I'm not a scammer, but how serious you are, how committed you are, what's your loyalty level? I don't think nobody could compete with Block and Domo Ducks and them guys, right? So if you're messing with BRC20s, you might want to look into what those guys are doing. And I think Block does do a space every now and then. It's called the Ordinal Support Line, I believe, something along those lines. Again, I'm not a space guy, but he is very dedicated, so I do respect that. Yeah? Moving on. So what is going to be Wave 2? Okay? When you head on over to fractalbitcoin.io, right? Take a look at this, guys. Okay? So essentially, before I get to this, what I'm saying is the BRC20 block 21,000 is not the Fractal Bitcoin meta of meta. It's much bigger than that. Don't get lost. Don't turn your back now and be like, oh man, okay, I seen it all. Because you're going to be late. This game is all about getting in early, bro. Okay? That's how you remain profitable. If you can get into a big trend that is successful and does its thing and people adopt it and you're early, let me tell you, you're going to bank coin. You need to seek value before the market agrees something is valuable. You don't go seek value when market already agrees it's valuable. You're going to pay 100 times more the price. Okay? So, let's carry on. When we go to fractalbitcoin.io/ecosystem, request for startups and projects, right? Look what it tells right here. So right off the bat, DeFi. What? DeFi? DeFi DEX. AMM, automated market maker. Develop advanced AMMs and a non-whatever XY equals K style AMMs for better trading efficiency. So maybe that's like order book exchanges, right? So AMMs and order books, right? Multi-crypto trading clients, develop secure trading clients capable of handling multiple cryptocurrencies, high-frequency trading systems like Sats Pump Fun. High-frequency trading systems, innovate on high-frequency trading systems with support for various markets. DeFi Bridge, cross-chain atomic swaps. Implement cross-chain atomic swaps such as Bitcoin fractal pairs, including Sats and ORDI if needed for scalable and secure trading. And it goes on. DeFi stablecoin. Check out NUSD. I think they're going to be everywhere, right? That's the BAMP people. I believe Jack Liu. So, do you think, right, if this is what they're talking about, an ecosystem, do you think what they're referencing to here is the BRC20 fractal? It doesn't even have OPCAT. So how is that possible? So it's almost like you're about to write a test in class, and that teacher at school she'll allow you to use the cheat sheet, or you go in your textbook to look for the answers. This is what Fractal is doing to us right here. It's like they ain't telling you, but they're telling you, right? Well, DeFi DEX, AMMs, DeFi bridges. Well, BRC20 on Fractals can't do this, right? No OPCAT. Put 2 and 2 together. I'm sure you're going to get 4. Or you could put 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 and still get 4. However you do your math, just do your math. And I'm sure you'll get the same result as me. Okay? So that clearly tells me this is not going to be supported by the BRC20s. But yet they're telling us in their ecosystem, request for startups and projects. This is what they're looking for. Yeah? I hope that makes sense. So that's what I'm trying to say. My eyes was on the OPCAT tokens. That's the meta. So when you see block 21,000, everyone's like, oh man, what is this? Okay. That's not the meta, man. That's not what the excitement's all about when it comes to Fractal Bitcoin. Liquidity pools, DeFi applications, fun shit like Sats Pump Fun. We ain't talking about that. Okay? Again, if you're now joining, I would say this though. For me, it was a great test to see how this network really scales. And it worked masterfully. It really did. Moving on. Saw something today. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, here it is. Saw something today. Right here. So this is Lynn. Give him a follow. Oh shit, I'm not even following the damn guy. Let me give him a follow right now. Like that. And Lynn, who is the dot swap, I believe I don't know if he's the head of development. I'm pretty sure he is. Shizzy said he is, so I'll take Shizzy's word for it. Connected to OKEX Web3 to bring more on a CAT20. Stay tuned. Dot swap is on its all full speed now. Ahead 4. Okay? Hold on. Right. So what is this telling us here? Connected to OKEX Web3 to bring more on CAT20. Does this mean that OKEX wallet might support the standard? So maybe you might be able to see your CAT20 token show? Maybe. I think that's sensible. Again, we all have brains. Let's use them. 2 plus 2 is 4. Does this mean that OKEX wallet will support CAT20? 2 plus 2 is 4. Right? Maybe. It's a great possibility. Hint, hint. I mean, I don't know if it will, but I mean, that's the only thing that I could come up with. Right? I mean, OKEX wallet, they support ordinals. They support BRC20s. I think they do prunes too. I don't know. I don't mess with prunes. But one would expect if, Lynn's saying this tweet, maybe there's something that he knows that we don't know. All right. Very, very interesting. What else do we have here? And this is what's the lead up to wave 2. Drop your questions in the live chat, whether that's Twitter, whether that's YouTube. I'll come there shortly. I'm busy dropping alpha. I'm sorry. I'll come there soon, I promise. And why should we even believe these guys? Dot swap. Well, when I say believe them, why should we take them seriously is what I should say. Well, if it wasn't for them, I don't think most of you guys would have any cat. Right? So this is what we're talking about here. This is dotswap.app /V1 swap, etc. And yeah, they got the Bitcoin to the FB swap. I think this is the only one on the market to my knowledge. I mean, look, people say it's not that decentralized. I get it. But to build a full-fledged decentralized application, that's going to be like V1, V2, V3, and then you get there. Buddy, they just went like this and they made something happen. Like they got a genie in the freaking bottle or something and they can make a wish and snap their fingers and bada bing, bada boom. There you go. It's here. So if it wasn't for them, most of you guys want to have this. So they showed us that they're capable of building even a swap, right, to give you FB. A lot of people didn't want to go to CoinX. Gate.io, by the way, just listed it too. So that's another option. So there you go. They got that swap. And obviously the mint, the front end for everybody who wanted to get this CAT token. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think, and to put things into perspective, keep this in mind. They actually beat a renowned platform and exchange and, whatever you want to call them, OKEX, to the punch. And I'm not saying it's a competitor. I'm just saying that's what I'm looking at, right? So one could imagine, how did Dot Swap beat OKEX to the punch of creating this front end for you guys to use? That means they must know their shit. One could argue, I mean, I'm not going to say this based off of one thing, but, they're right up there when it comes to developing, right? Right? They're fast and it looks like they get shit done. To beat OKEX, a multi-billion-dollar company like that, I don't think Dot Swaps has a multi-billion-dollar company, but nonetheless, they delivered, bro, before anybody, OKEX included. So I take note of these things, right? Okay, moving on. What else I got for y'all? Aha! Here's some alpha of alpha. You guys remember Ordinal's wallet? They've been pretty quiet since the whole runes thing. But for the OGs who's been in this space, you should know Ordinal's wallet. Good morning. Just got off the phone with Script Platform. You know who that is? Remember I interviewed him? Remember he is one of my advisors? He is the OPCAT guru. Yeah, they're talking about him. So you're going to hear a lot more about escript moving forward, I can imagine, and even in this presentation, which we're going to get to next. But Ordinal's wallet says, good morning, just got off the phone with escript. Something big is coming for Fractal Bitcoin and CAT20. Turn on notifications. Now, let me tell you, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of this slide of Ordinal's wallet. If you've been here in this space, you fully know well that Ordinal's wallet was like one of the fastest developers in the Ordinal space. They were quick to act. They were one of the first, I think they were second, to build a marketplace for the art. Sorry, is that correct? I believe it's for the art. or for whatever it was, the tokens or art. I think it was art. I believe, was it Ord Swap was first, and I think Ordinal's Wallet was second. Who cares? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they were first. Maybe it was the other way around. The point is, they were here at the very beginning, and they were quick and efficient with things. Okay? Now, here we go right now with CAT20. Does this now mean that Ordinal's Wallet could build some form of exchange? I would like to see, if I say DEX, it's probably misleading because that means decentralized exchange. I don't think you could whip up a decentralized swap DEX or EMM in a matter of a week, right? It's just not going to happen. It'll be very flawed and there'll be a lot of, bugs in there one could imagine. So eventually maybe they get there. Maybe they start off as a semi-centralized DEX, a trustless DEX from the user standpoint where funds are in your hands, whatever, things like that. Maybe the logic is stored in a centralized way. I don't know. But this is just giving us telltale signs of something's coming. And I'm led to believe, right? It has to be wallet support, and it just has to be a DEX or a marketplace. But I just don't want to see a marketplace. I'd rather see a DEX because we're talking about OPCAT tokens, bro. We ain't talking about that funny money on layer 1 NFT style. We ain't talking about that funny money shit, right? Cool. All right. Come to my favorite part. And this is the alpha right here, guys. It's in front of your face. All you gotta do is just get your shovel and start digging. Nobody wants to dig. Okay. So, moving on to the next slide where the alpha gets bigger, greater, and greater, and greater. Fractal Bitcoin.io ecosystem projects, Fractal grant recipients. Okay? Why is this important? My God. Look who's number 1 on the list. Would you believe it? Who would have ever thunk it? Escript. God, bro. Dude, they're just giving you the damn answers. So check this. Escript infrastructure season 0. Escript has been instrumental in bringing advanced scripting capabilities to Fractal, enabling developers to create complex smart contracts directly on the Bitcoin network. Their strong technical work has laid a strong foundation for future innovations on Fractal. Do I have to read that again? I think I do. Escript has been instrumental in bringing advanced scripting, capabilities to Fractal, enabling developers to create complex smart contracts directly on the Bitcoin network. Their strong technical work has laid a strong foundation for future innovations on Fractal. Okay, now when we press the find out more button, it takes us to their website. The full stack Web3 development platform for Bitcoin compatible blockchains, Escript smart contracts. Escript is a TypeScript framework to develop smart contracts on Bitcoin compatible blockchains. And I'm going to try to explain this to you guys as easy as possible. I'm sure we all here heard of JavaScript. JavaScript is used by 99% of the Web2 developers, I would say this. 99% of websites use JavaScript. And I think it's something like 30 million or 20 million developers know JavaScript. Now, there's something called TypeScript, which is another computer language, which is very similar to JavaScript, but it has a little bit more advanced things to it. However, if you know JavaScript, it'll probably take you a weekend to learn this, or maybe a week at most. Now, when you have a TypeScript now, a platform like this, let's call it Escript, right, is very similar to like a compiling machine. So now developers know JavaScript. Okay, they learned this thing called TypeScript, which is similar to JavaScript. You could then use Escript to compile that into Bitcoin script. Now, why is that important? Well, Bitcoin script is not that easy to learn if you know JavaScript or if you know this TypeScript. It's quite technical, actually, and there's only about, maybe a few people that actually mastered Bitcoin script. So how do you get people to use this? It's very similar, actually, to what Vitalik Buterin did with Solidity. What he did? Well, he used a little bit of Python, which is another computer language that's widely used, and incorporated that into Solidity, which made things a little bit easier for developers to adopt. Well, that's exactly what's happening here. And there's some advanced shit going on, right? And when we come down to their website, with all of that, when you go from, say, JavaScript to TypeScript, from TypeScript now, right, to Bitcoin script, You got all of this stuff like Turing machines, you got automation, you got ZK rollups, and you got all of that shit that right here, these guys are talking about that could be done. Oh my God. I want to put the nail in this coffin once and for all. And we ain't even talking about the damn indexers not being needed and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to talk about everything. I just want to talk about the next wave. And with a next wave, you get more milestones met. You were here, you go there, right? We get innovative, we get advanced. We can actually transact. Liquidity comes in, buy, sell, what's value? This is what happens. So this is when these waves are going to happen, guys. Yeah? What else do I got up in here in my my presentation for y'all? And I'll come to the live chat very shortly. Yeah, so I did find this here. This is from Johnny Himalaya. I did start to follow him too. When I saw this read up some weeks ago, September 3rd, if I click this, this will give you a great breakdown on these specific topics. So building DeFi on Bitcoin. And he covers just like a few other things too, you know, like TAP protocol even, and Fractal, I believe, is somewhere there, ICP, etc., etc. I would leave the link for this in the description box if you want to deep dive on some of these items here, these topics. Okay, so what else could we expect from the Fractal Bitcoin ecosystem? Well, according to them, it's not even my opinion, this is their website and their grant program. This one seems very interesting. So it is called, where is it? D-Trading Infrastructure, right? So infrastructure, well, it's not application, it's infrastructure, but season 0. D-Trading is enabling cross-chain atomic swaps, bro. That's wild, bro. I'm excited for that. That do not rely on any central authority, servers, or other swap participants. The swap is trustless and requires no collateral, facilitating a simpler way to trade on Fractal without involving a third party or additional risk vectors. Yeah? And hold on, if I click that find more button, it takes us to their website. And they talk about trustless cross-chain swap. It's like people don't want to do this though. They don't want to dig. They want airdrops. They want it to fall on their lap. And then they want to complain that the airdrop is not worth enough. This is why people don't get it. Straight up. Yeah, what are you guys saying in the chat? Okay, so we have quite a number of people here. Thank you for joining. We got Eagle joining us. Says something about, where is him? I just lost your message there. He said something about at the time. Where is it? Hold on. Yeah, escript will finally end in BSV. Jack Lou will be right about BSV, but that is not the time yet for the moment. Let's enjoy Fractal. There you go. And I would say this, right, Eagle? At the time when BSV came out, it was more like, and Bitcoin Cash and all these things, it was more of like these OGs who's been involved with Bitcoin for a long period of time, like from the very beginning, saw how it was becoming centralized, how it was becoming, you know, owned, right, from the likes of Bitcoin Core and whatnot. And they said, you know what, screw this shit. Satoshi actually wanted OPCAT on, right, later on. Satoshi actually wanted all of these other things, like he wanted to scale with bigger blocks. And they said if they want to change the culture to their personal preference, we're not going to fight it. We're just going to make our own. And I would argue, you know, Eagle, at the time, also, you never had tokens trading on Layer 1 or on mainnet Bitcoin. So I feel as though today it's much more needed than back then because now we have that. And we have so much more users to Bitcoin, right? And then you add the ordinal theory with all these assets on Layer 1 and tokens, fungible tokens. It's more needed than ever before. So I totally agree with your assessment there. Zeesh says, whoa, escript sounds bullish. And guys, I brought him on like, say, I don't know, when was that? Over a month ago onto the channel. Yeah? So, I mean, we were dropping alpha well before Fractal went live, well before you guys knew about, you know, what was going to happen here with OPCAT, although I was trying to warn you about it and wave the green flag. Okay. What else do we got here in the Twitter chat? Let me head on over there. Just open it up. We got about 1,100 people here in the Twitter chat. Cool. What else we got here? What's up, my boy? Are we bullish on STX? Mind sharing your opinion? Look, I don't mind stacks. I mean, I just hope they could actually come up with that Nakamoto block once and for all instead of giving everybody blue balls. But every time we're close to that date, they delay. So people kind of, their attention span gets lost with that, right? Yeah, so Crypto Space Media, dot swap made it possible for us. I 1000% agree with that as well. Okay? What else we got here? Any other questions? Let me know, right? So if you're now joining us, we pretty much are going over all of the various different things on why I'm led to believe a wave 2 is going to occur. And I broke it all down for y'all. I think a lot of people is judging Fractal on the BRC20. It was a great time to see the network scalability, which worked beautifully. Okay, the meta is CAT20, not necessarily these tickers here. Definitely it's CAT though. I'll tell you that is part of that meta. But we're talking about the actual infrastructure like this and cool apps, DApps. EMMs, lending, borrowing, bridges, all of that cool stuff, right? We got hints from Lynn, who is the dot swap lead developer, talking about OPCAT and all these things. Perhaps they're going to be adding support. We should probably take his word a little bit more seriously than most in this space because he's proven to us that he could develop and he could develop really fast. There's a swap over there. Here's the mint. This is how you guys were able to get your CAT tokens. Ordinal's wallet is also coming in on the action, chiming in saying, they got the phone with escript. I'm led to believe there's some kind of DEX or some kind of like swap exchange, I should say. Maybe not decentralized as yet. Swap exchange and maybe marketplace. I hope not marketplace. I hope it's that swap exchange. I showed you guys the escript here, which is part of the Fractal grant recipients of Fractal Bitcoin. And I broke down how all of that works. If you know how to use JavaScript, which most of the people, developers on planet Earth knows, 99% of the websites are based off of JavaScript. Then you could learn TypeScript. It's very similar to JavaScript. And then you could go on a platform like Escript and you could convert your TypeScript code into Bitcoin script, which is very advanced and technical. Only a few people actually know how that works. It's very similar to what Solidity did with Python, what Vitalik Buterin did. Okay, so I guess you could think of Yahweh as maybe Vitalik. I don't know. Right? Cool. Then we come over here. That's a nice article on the subject over there. More cool grants going to infrastructure projects like this. D-trading. Maybe they got a token. I don't know. But I would want that token. Atomic swaps. Holy shit. Give me some of that. So on and so forth. Now is your time if you got questions for me. If not, I gotta go. Okay. So we do have some comments here from Danny P. Holy brother, this thing's opened the gates to heaven. Almost every software company can program on Bitcoin. Exactly. But what's the problem with that, right? Like, we always talk about adoption. Well, in order for adoption to happen, we need infrastructure. We need the foundation to be poured and laid out and built for us to go and do our thing. For retailers, everyday users, what have you. Well, you can't get that if it's very technically hard to learn. It's a technical thing to learn this code for these guys, these Web 2 guys. If you can make that easier for them, then they might come on over to the Bitcoin Eco and mess with that. But it's going to take them a long period of time, or they're going to lose patience to try to learn Bitcoin script. That's why escript is just like game changer, right? And this is Bitcoin smart contracts too, guys. So this is why when you go to the ecosystem section, they talk about all of these DeFi products, and we have a lot of these smart people, and I mean that, I really mean that, who are very smart, talking about these things and saying, well, I don't know, like, OPCAT could do functionality, but all of this advanced stuff, I just don't see how it's possible. And I think what they're missing out of their thesis is the escript platform. But you know who gets it? This gentleman over here. Where is he? Right here. Mr. UTXO intern gets it. And he says, okay, not only can we program UTXOs now, but we can program them in composable ways. See, the Minter and the CAT20 contracts are different contracts. The Minter contract emits CAT20 contracts. Minter V1 had some wonky effects at the end of a mint. Minter V2, see, V1, I'm talking about, see, V2s now, V1, V2, V3. Just launched and addresses them. Nobody had to update any trackers. all the websites still showed balances. CAT protocol makes good minters, but we can actually edit them and change the rules ourselves. For example, maybe we make the minter mine a proof of work solution before minting. Still shows up in our trackers. I don't know, what's that, WO? Them updating code. This is the benefit of just putting the code on the mother chain. Guys, please don't do UTXO intern a favor. Do yourself a favor. Head on over to UTXO intern and give this man a follow. It's at H Becker I. So HBECKERI. A lot of people think I'm like the smart guy. Let me tell you, this is the guy right here when it comes to all of this CAT20 stuff. Don't get me wrong. I think I know, much more than the average person, but he knows much more than me, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? What do you guys got for me here? I don't care what happens to anybody else who isn't part of my community in terms of if they miss this or not. I really don't give a shit. And again, there's so much happening here, right? You got all of these different tribes going on. You got the Runes tribe, you got the BRC20 tribe, you got the CAT20 tribe, you got the freaking TAP tribe, and you got OpNet guys too. You got all these different tribes, and everybody's already committed and invested financially and personally into something. You probably can't get into everything. But what I'll tell you is this, okay? All I'm saying is, everybody thought, after seeing Block 21,000, well, I'm seeing Fractal Bitcoin, and that's it. I'm going to write it off because it's the same shit that happens on Layer 1. But little do they know what's about to happen. And as I said, I will be surprised if some big exchange, like now we see OKEX getting involved. OKEX wallet support getting involved. One might think they may list a CAT token at some point, as I tweeted out, right, in the very near future. Okay? So when that happens, that's when it's probably like another wave. It might happen before the wave too. But I just don't want you guys to miss out when the real shit takes place. Because it'll be a tragedy that you're right freaking there, and then you decided to make a left instead of a right. That's all. Imagine this, right? It's one thing to miss out on the CAT20 OPCAT token movement, which I predicted was going to happen and happen. And then you saw Block 21,000 and you're like, oh, screw this. And you were there. So it's not like if you never heard of CAT20, you were there. And then all of a sudden you're like, all right, screw this shit. And then you go back to your little tap or your little fucking runes or whatever the heck you're into. And then all of a sudden the big freaking bull run comes in this freaking niche. And then it takes off and then you were right there. But then you went back to your little bullshit. Right? That's a bigger tragedy than not even knowing this thing existed. Okay? So don't want that to happen to y'all. Don't care if it happens to other people, but for the people watching this live stream, I don't want it to happen to y'all. Yeah, D-Trading Alpha, Zeesh, exactly. What else should we mint? As I told you, Neo Meister, me personally, look, I one could imagine, right, out of this right here, okay, where is it? Hold on. Out of these tickers here, there must be something going on with one of these, right? There must be something. So maybe if you really want to get your hustling game on, right, you go through these pages and these tickers, you do some research on Twitter, and you start to put in those tickers CAT20, and then see if there's any legitimacy behind it, any concrete, tangible, I wouldn't say company, but organization is like a company. Foundation is not the right word. Team building, right? That's what I would say. And that's a good starting point for you to be ahead of the crowd. But again, I'm really taking a close look to the Fractal Bitcoin's ecosystem when it comes to, the grants. Because those are the ones that are pretty much certified by the Unisat and Fractal Bitcoin team. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be very hard for you to make a mistake in your judgment on if they're serious or not, right? So, yeah. Hopefully we could get Sats Pump Fun in the ecosystem of Fractal Bitcoin. Would you guys like to see that? By the way, Sats Pump Fun, I am one of the two co-founders. We will be conducting our first Sats Pump Fun's Twitter space, most likely on Saturday or Friday, something like that, at the end of this week. We got mad alpha for y'all when it comes to that. And this is what I mean too. And again, you can call me biased, but I don't think there's anything much more interactive, intuitive, engaging than a business model like that right now, right? If you look at all of these other chains, like Tron. What brought Tron back to life? It was a pump fund model. So this is the type of shit we want to see, and it's not just limited to a pump fund model. There's some other cool stuff that could happen here, and I will, I wouldn't be surprised if I see a brand new type of DeFi application come to market here on Fractal Bitcoin using the CAT20 protocol that we've never really seen too much on the market. And I'm not saying that this one doesn't exist, but an atomic swap trustless bridge, they're rare. And that could give you insights to things to come. And I would love to own a fucking token of that very early. I don't know about y'all, but that's just my take. What else we got going on in the live chat, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being... When you're early to something, you need to understand that something that's organic like this is going to roll out in segments. And when that happens, normally in segments, you advance, and then price pump, right? Because now people see development. It's like me owning... So this city that I live in is getting a lot more people moving here. But 15 years ago, it was like fucking empty. It's called Caledon in Ontario, Canada. And it was just like farmland. 15 years later now, as more infrastructure starts to be built, like the roads and the homes, the value of this city goes up. Well, the same is true when you are building software. When you just have a network, cool. Then you're getting some infrastructure, like maybe a DEX, right? Then a token, you get users. Then you get a sats pump fund, you get a lending and a borrowing. You get another DEX. You get, a game like Uniworlds, kind of like an Axie Infinity. Bro, all of a sudden you get China involved, you get a network effect. Just like that example with homes in a fucking full flat farmland that gets developed, it tends to go up in value, right? Infrastructure is built, then you get users or citizens and et cetera, and value of property rises. Well, that's exactly how you should look at this. Any other questions, let me know. Who is dumping FB? Now, I've said this time and time again. It's the miners. Miners are the ones right now with the biggest sell pressure. Okay? And there are miners there. And at the end of the day, a miner, it's a business for them. They got expenses, energy consumption, and things of this nature. And fucking staff they need to pay. And how do they get paid? Well, their income is FB right now. Okay? Any miner, they look at it like that. And what do you do when you get your income? Who is this? I forget. I lost your name there, but whoever our live viewer is, what do you do with your income? Well, you got bills to pay. That's pretty much your expense, right? And, maybe you don't got a team to pay, but they do. Right? They got workers. So that's just how it's going to be. At the very beginning, it will be volatile. We've seen the pump, we've seen the demand, and there will be more demand when these things come out. Right, the economics is actually very good in terms of the amount of the shortage of the supply that's currently being circulating. Okay, so and we said this was going to happen, right, with the miners. So it is what it is, and we expected this to happen. So that's who's dumping right now. Oh, that was T-Rex who asked that. What do we got here? Somebody said something about. Who is the co-founder? What are you talking about? Tim Baker. Okay, I have a question. You always say you don't like airdrops, but you're doing one for Sats Pump. So, great question. The reason why, when I say I don't like airdrops for a token performance. I don't like airdrops in the sense of that how the culture is changing to just airdrops is the meta and nothing else matters. And then when you do that, right, and this is a very good question, AC man, thank you for asking. Let me clear the air. And when you do that, it's like the expectations is all about airdrops. Now, what I want to do with the largest BRC20 airdrop we're going to conduct is reward the folks who are the BRC20 people, right? Like those communities. It was, Ordy and Sats and Shint and, Honk and Quack and all these guys. I want to reward the hardcore token fanatics on Bitcoin who was here at the very beginning with their first ever mass airdrop. Okay? Now, why would I want to do that? Well, when runes came out, they didn't reward the right people. You're giving tokens to art people and not tokens to token people, which is stupid. You should have rewarded the token people because you're talking about tokens now. So that's where this initiative came from and stemmed from. I wanted to give the people something, right? Who pretty much supported the first token standard. And if it wasn't for those people, I'll tell you right now, ordinals would have been a cool experiment, but it wouldn't have been relevant today. Because right now, nobody gives a shit about art, okay? It's a fact. Not even the biggest influencers who shield or prunes down your throat talks about art anymore, right? So it's clear that tokens is the beating heart of ordinals. And the people who adopted BRC20s should be rewarded more than anybody. So what I came up with was an airdrop for them. Okay? What else we got here? In the live chats. 1 second. We do have 1.5k people watching us on the Twitter. All good, all good. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, what else we got, guys? Francis breaking the entitlement spell of airdrops. Cool. Created FB punks specifically for this community and Shizzy community, minted out, and were listed on OKEX. Did you get any FB punks? I didn't, BB. Not me. Okay, guys, look, I think that's the alpha for y'all right there, okay? So, don't think this is the end all be all. We're now getting started. As a matter of fact, this is the damn preseason, and the main event, the real season, didn't start, guys. Didn't start. Listen. Just like the people who missed out on CAT because they didn't really give Fractal Bitcoin any seriousness or Day of Light or whatever, for whatever reason their excuse is, they're going to want to hang themselves from a fucking tree in about 3 months or 2 months or less when this shit's built out. And you know who's going to be laughing to the bank like we always do? It's always going to be the trendsetters. Always going to be the trendsetters. The people who could see past 10 feet in front of them. The people who could connect the damn dots. Okay, are going to be the ones who are rewarded. So, with all of that being said, there truly isn't much left to say other than till the next live stream, brother. Your ass is on your own. Later.